One of the hardest things to figure out when making the move to San Diego is figuring out what neighborhood is going to be right for you. A lot of that comes down to what is your budget, what are you comfortable with. So, in this video, we're going to break down about 6 different neighborhoods in all of North County, San Diego, and show you some of the most common areas that people from this channel reach out to and actually end up purchasing homes because the price point is relatively the same, $1.2 million to $1.4 million. That seems to be the sweet spot. Obviously, we help people in the price brackets below that, the price brackets above that, but the 1.2 to 1.4 just seems like, as far as people reaching out from this channel, that is the most common number that we do reach. So we're going to get into those neighborhoods right now. All right, so let's just set up the search and go through and show you these different neighborhoods. I'm going to bring in some sold properties as well, just so you have a little bit better idea. We'll go within the last 6 months because it's still going to be relevant right now. And property types, we're going to go with single family homes, meaning detached homes. And all these homes are going to range from $1.2 million to $1.4 million. And we help people looking everywhere throughout San Diego. But a lot of people who are looking, say, in this downtown central area of San Diego are going to be searching kind of around this area. They're not really going to North County. Or if you are looking in Santee, El Cajon, this is called East County, San Diego. This is where you're going to be searching. But North County, San Diego, just to keep it concise, we're going to focus to these areas here in San Diego. So here we are, and a first neighborhood actually going to be a duo of neighborhoods right here in the northern section, coming up in South Oceanside and Fire Mountain. You'll see as we get through all these houses, you'll see it clear up a little bit. So now, if you've seen our past videos, there's a lot going on in Oceanside, from new restaurants and shops and bars, all kinds of new food spots. There's a few new hotels in there. There is just a lot of building and a lot of development going on here in Oceanside. These areas are the southern portion of Oceanside, so you won't find as much of that. Obviously, Fire Mountain is all residential. And if you're lucky enough, you might find a house in that price range. Most of the homes in this section are going to be smaller footprints, sub 2,000 square feet, maybe 3 bedroom. There's some 2 bedroom in there as well. Once you hop over to South O, footprints are going to get even smaller, sitting sub 1,000 square feet. A lot of times you will have a lot of bigger backyards in that area, though. And the benefit is you will have access to all of the happenings that are going on right now in Oceanside. Plus, this is going to be the most coastal neighborhood that you're going to see here that we're going to cover today, where Fire Mountain is up on a hill. You're going to have some views up there, but you can see 3 bed, 2 bath home, about 1,700 square foot. Now, Fire Mountain, you're not going to find these big developments. It's a lot of one-off homes, a lot of custom homes. There's some smaller developments. There's some that are going to be cookie cutter, but you will find bigger yards up here. You will find some views up here as well. So down to the south up the 78 freeway, this is where you will find a lot of the big box stores, a lot of the Walmarts, and there's a Trader Joe's down here. Once you get to South O, the footprints, as you will see, most of them 2 bed, 1 bath, 3 bed, 1 bath. So a lot of that bungalow style, sub 1,000 square foot right here, but a lot of room to grow here. So if you bought the house, a lot of room to improve the house, a lot of room to add on to the property. You could put an ADU potentially in the backyard. And then you're a real quick shot down to, this is Coast Highway, where you see my hand going right here. This is where a lot of the new happenings are going on, especially when you get down to the pier right up here to the north in South Oceanside. There's a handful of other Oceanside neighborhoods as well that would fit the criteria as you go further to the east. All this out here is Oceanside as well. That's where you start going to get bigger homes. But if you want close to the beach, you want that kind of vibe, those 2 neighborhoods are going to be a good shot. And before we get into the next neighborhood, as a quick reminder, love making these videos for you guys, love sharing all of our knowledge about neighborhoods and what's going on and where to live here in San Diego. But we'd love to help you with your real estate needs. We're real estate agents right here in San Diego. I'm Chris Erickson with the Beach Life Group. And if you just want to start that conversation, get the ball rolling. This is never too early, whether it's 1 month, 1 year, 2 years. We don't care. We love helping people out and find the perfect spot for them to live right here in San Diego, or if San Diego is even the right move for them. So hit us up. Call, text, email number is popping up right now. We got your back when making the move here to San Diego. Next up is going to be in Carlsbad. Now we're a little bit farther from the coast here. We are east of the 5, this is Calavera Hills. Now, we have a lot of people who look in Calavera Hills, once again, because it does fit that 1.2 to 1.4 price range. Homes in here are going to be a little newer. Well, depends. There's two different areas where you see this cluster here. These houses are going to be a little bit older, 70s and 80s homes, a little bit smaller as well. But then as you get around this big open space preserve right here, this is Calavera Hills proper. This is where you're going to find a little bit bigger homes where you're getting into the 4 bedrooms, maybe up to 2,500 square foot, a little bit newer homes as well. So homes sitting in that probably about 2000-ish range for the year that they were built. You're going to find a little bit here, the 3-bed, 2-bath homes as well. And up here, it's all residential, just like how Fire Mountain's all residential. Mostly up in this section, you're not going to find too much as far as infrastructure. So you will find Calavera Park. You're going to find all of these trails going around this little pond here. There is some infrastructure as you go a little bit closer to the freeway. So all of these sections up here, if we could hit it into satellite mode, is where you're going to find a little bit more of that shopping and whatnot. The kind of the essentials that you're going to need right just south of the 78 freeway. From here, also, you're going to have a quick shot down Carlsbad Village Drive to get to Carlsbad Village. If you've been to Carlsbad, you've probably been to Carlsbad Village. This is their downtown area. This is where you're going to find all the shops and restaurants and all that kind of cool stuff down there. Now, once again, there is some building, some development and stuff going down here. You'll find a lot of newer condos, but Carlsbad Village does have a few different streets going on. They have the farmers market down here every week as well. So you're not too far from there. While living back here, you're not living super coastal. You're also only about a 10-minute drive down to Carlsbad Village. From here, I'm going to show you kind of a trifecta of neighborhoods just to the north here. And we're going to be going like Vista, Bonsall to Valley Center. So let's go this triangle right here. This live-in where you will see some houses popping up, all different styles, all different areas, all different neighborhoods. Even Valley Center, there's some new construction out there. It's actually even less than the price point we're talking about right now. And this isn't the general price point. This is the starting price point is much lower in Vista, Bonsall, and Valley Center. But if you're in the 1.2 to 1.4, you're going to get some decent sized houses, some decent sized yards. This one's still only 3-bed, 2-bath, but you're looking at 4.5 acres right here. So you will find a lot of that out there in this price point here in Vista. You got a half acre here, a 3,400 square foot home. So there's a lot of options out here in the Buena Creek area. Once you get to Bonsall, it's a smaller footprint up in Bonsall, so there's not like a ton of homes up there. Valley Center as well. You're even further east. That's where you're going to get a bit more rural. That's where you're going to get a bit further out there. If you want coastal living, Valley Center is not. If you're coming to San Diego, you're moving here for the beach, definitely Valley Center is not your go-to. Bonsall is still a little bit ways out. Vista is going to be your closest bet if you want that kind of semi-rural living. You want some space on your land. You want to be somewhat close to the beach. You still have a Mediterranean climate here in Vista where you're not getting too far east like in the Valley Centers where it does get super hot during the summer times. But you will have a quick shot down the 78 freeway to get to the coast. Anywhere in Vista, you're probably, if you're out in this section here, you might be about 20 to 25 minutes from the coast. So not too far, but you do get your space. Whereas in like Calavera Hills, it's pretty tight. It's a master plan community. Here, you get a little bit of room to breathe. Now, from here, we are going to another area. This is probably one of the areas that the most people we've helped move to San Diego have ended up here. And it is in southern San Marcos, the 92078 zip code of San Marcos. It does include Lake San Marcos, which is over here, but not too many people have moved there. We have sent clients out there to check it out. It's a different vibe. It is a golf cart community where you cruise around the neighborhoods, a lot of single story homes, which is pretty nice. A lot of the homes are built a little bit older style. So there have been people moving in there. There's actually one of the areas where you see a lot of flippers here in North County, San Diego, go in there, buy homes, flip them, and then resell them. And it is one of the only communities around a lake. So you have Lake San Marcos where you do have You could store your pontoon down there. You can go fishing. There's no jet skiing. There's no wakeboarding. There's none of that kind of stuff. You can paddleboard, but it is kind of a more unique area of San Marcos. So I think people that have moved down here, they have checked it out, but it hasn't really been their vibe. So the two places that we have seen is San Alejo Hills right here and Discovery Hills back here. So you're going to get a little more bang for your buck. This neighborhood is a little bit older, not crazy older, where San Alejo Hills is like built in the 2000s. It's a big master plan community kind of going around where I'm circling right now. And the homes that you're going to get in here, this is going to be that starter home in San Alejo Hills. So you're looking at 3 or 4 bedrooms, about 25-ish, 100 square feet at that price point. You could see from the Vista lots to these lots where we were seeing half acre out there, you're looking at about 0.15. So definitely a lot less space in here. Some lots you're going to find areas for pools, but it's probably not the norm. Most lots are going to be on that smaller size. Okay, let me rephrase that. A lot of lots will have room for pools, but they're going to take up a good portion of your lot. So this middle section of San Alejo here, and then down, this is the bottom of the hill is what I'm going to call it. Because as you're going up San Alejo Road, this is all uphill going up to the peak right here. So then you start going down the other side. So this whole section is a big hill. So from here, you can't see this section until you get to the top of the Double Peak Park, and you could see all of San Marcos. And you are going to find some decent properties in there. Like I said, three to 4 bedrooms, kind of on that newer style. Early 2000s is when they were all built. There's a handful of different floor plans. We did see the price points jump up significantly over these past few years. So you're going to see less and less options in the 1.2 to 1.4 range. But if you are exploring out here, I think it's a really good area to check out. If you've never heard of San Alejo Hills, a good drive through, see the vibe. They have the town center right here in the middle. You do have the big ballparks right here. There's not too many other parks. There's a few other little hidden parks, but you will find a bunch of these trails going through as well, which is a lot of what this neighborhood is known for. So if you want to get outside, it's kind of similar to the Calavera area where you have a bunch of trails basically right out your backyard. Same in here. So a lot of people do utilize that. You go running on all these trails, cruise around, bring your kids out there. It's pretty awesome little spot here in the southern section of San Marcos. And believe it or not, there are some areas, there's one specific area of Encinitas that will fit this criteria as well. It's the eastern portion of Encinitas. It's called New Encinitas. This is where you're going to find all the infrastructure. I always say this is one of the most convenient areas in all of North County because up and down this corridor right here, which is El Camino Real, one of the main thoroughfares here in Encinitas, it goes all the way up through Carlsbad and Oceanside as well. But right down here is where you're going to find basically anything and everything you need. There's medical offices, there are big box stores, there's a few restaurants and stuff in here, there's gas stations, there's just everything you need. So if you're living in this area, you're like a 5-minute hit down here. If you buy a house over here, there's a Home Depot right down here. So get all your DIY stuff out. You quick shot down to Home Depot. There's the Target right over here. There's a right across the road as well. Actually, Target and all that Home Depot is right over here. Sorry, I was wrong on my map, but the Forum right up here, higher end shops, Apples, you do have Lululemon, you do have Allbirds, all that kind of stuff is right in here, plus a few more restaurants. And there's not going to be a ton of spots that do pop up in here. This is called New Encinitas Village Park. You'll hear us refer to that area as Village Park. Rancho Ponderosa is actually in Carlsbad, but it does feed to all the same schools as this area. It feeds to all the Encinitas schools, and it kind of lives similar as well, where you do have access to all of this going up and down El Camino Real, about the same distance from the ocean. Now, a few of these popping up are going to come up as single family homes, but they are actually sharing a wall. So as you're searching around, if you see stuff in there, if you don't mind sharing one wall, it is a good bang for your buck. 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,700 square foot, and you're living right here in Encinitas. All of these guys are going to be definitely smaller homes. A lot of them are going to be older as well. So 4-bed, 2-bath, just shy of 1,500 square foot. This one actually just got remodeled and is on the market as a flip right now, but it was 3.2, pretty original. This is basically like the lowest you're going to find in this area currently, $1.2 million. Dollars. When it did go back on the market, it did go on for 1.5. I don't know where it's actually going to end up selling, but you can see much lower square footage, about 1,300 square foot. Between this and the South O slash Oceanside neighborhood, Fire Mountain, that we mentioned earlier. Once again, the number of homes that's going to pop up is not going to be a ton. Now you get a few right outside of there. This is the La Costa area. So in Carlsbad, you're going to find a lot of spots in there as well. There's three different school districts, or three different, this area feeds the three different school districts depending on where you are. As you go a little bit north, it goes to Carlsbad. As you go a little bit further to the east, it feeds to San Marcos. And going from the least amount of homes popping up to probably the most amount of homes popping up in the search is going to be this little section here. Okay, it's not a little section, but as I zoom in, it's little on the on the map, which is going to be this area here, which I'm going to include as Rancho Bernardo, Forest Ranch, Rancho Penasquitos, Poway. It is this whole area here where you're going to find the most amount of homes, probably in that 1.2 to 1.4 price point. And you can see how many pop up. Most of these homes, like Rancho Bernardo homes, are going to be a little bit older in style, 70s and 80s. You can see you're still getting about 2,000 square foot, 3 bed, 2 bath. And that's going to be a lot of them in here. And we made whole vlogs on this whole Rancho Bernardo area, as well as a lot of the other areas. So if you want to go check those out and dive in a little bit more, but you can see still mostly sub 2,000 square foot in here. Carmel Mountain Ranch is right in the center here. This is the area that's popping up right here where you'll find a bunch of different houses around here. There's a big infrastructure area right in this section. So a bunch of those big box stores and shopping and Targets and etc. right in there as well. Poway, as you go further east in Poway, you're going to get a little bit more rural, a little bit more spread out, kind of similar to the Vistas a little bit. Older homes in here as well. And then Rancho Penasquitos, once again, 70s and 80s style home, but you're going to have track neighborhoods in here as well. So most of this area, especially Rancho Bernardo, was built as one of San Diego's original master plan communities. So you will find a lot of similar styles, similar sizes, a lot of the same houses as you're going through those neighborhoods. As far as the number of homes, there is, look at all these popping up right here. You're going to have a lot of homes, and there's hiking out here. There's the 56 freeway to cut through and get down to the beach or head to Del Mar or Solana Beach. You do have the 15 freeway. So if you have to go north or south, most likely south for work. So if you have to go south to any of the kind of commercial business districts here in San Diego, Sorrento Valley or Kearny Mesa or downtown or any of those areas, you could take the 15 and then cut on any of these other freeways pretty darn quickly, or the 56 freeway to get across as well. And once again, one of the negatives here is similar to the Bonzels, Vistas, Valley Centers, is it's not coastal. So once you get out to kind of the 15 corridor, it's going to be getting hotter during the summer times. You're not near the beach. You can get down to the beach. Obviously, any of these areas, you get down to the beach pretty darn quickly. But if you're living out here, it's just going to be a little bit more of a hassle. Pack the kids up, go in the car. You're sitting in there for 30 minutes. You're looking for parking. You're looking for the right beaches. You're going to find them as you explore San Diego. But there is just that beach living is not going to be this area. And just as a caveat, that 1.2 to 1.4 million dollar price point, these are not all of the neighborhoods that do fit that criteria. There's a bunch more around San Diego. So if you did want to dive in, you want to pick our brains, and maybe you are searching on Zillow or wherever you are, and you see some properties and you're like, where the heck is this one? I want to know more about this area. Hop on that call with us, call, text, or you don't have to call, you could email as well. And let's get that conversation rolling so we could get you dialed in and figure out if and where the perfect spot for you in San Diego is. We got your back. We're making the move here to San Diego.